Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show. And you say Shot City, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show. And you say Shot City, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show. And you say Shot City, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show. And you say Shot City, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show.
Yo, welcome back. What is up? That's another episode of The Tailgate Show. It's Double A. It's True Biscuits and the Grizzle Gravy. It's Air Jer, a.k.a. the fucking principal pony of the Pewter Penzance, the Bone Stone Pony. And, of course, he's salty. He's tired. He's not happy with my shit ever. B Diddy, a.k.a. B Quinn 34. What's up, boys? Anything happened today in Bearsland? Do you hear anything? Any news?
No, just waiting for your ass for a half hour. I'm glad you could join us. So we're gonna break down this Vikings Bears game play for play now.
Yep. That's why we're here. We're here to break down another Andy Dalton classic.
And here's the breakdown: up 14-3 at halftime. In the second half, we got one last Nagy, 9 runs and 26 passes. Good time.
Like nothing more fitting than the fucking Nagy era to end with Dalton throwing a pick six and then immediately throwing another interception right after it. I was just like, oh, chef's kiss. Like, nothing could be more emblematic than that shit. Like, you're bum-ass expensive, he can run my system, fucking bum, great guy, blah, 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 bum-ass quarterback. Fucking throwing 2 picks, pick six and a regular pick on the way of your visor ass is out the door.
And I went back to that description Pace had when we got him, just like he bullshitted us about Glenn, and I'm just like, I hope both these fuckers are gone, man, and I got what I wanted today.
Yep.
Yeah, you did. A lot of people wanted that.
Not only did you get what you wanted, here's a big shout-out to Jeff Hughes from the Bears blog. Jeff, you called it correct! Jeff Hughes, you're a fucking genius! Woo!
Gotta give the dude credit. He called it when everybody else was talking about promotion and all this bullshit. Even the people on the beat had no clue. So,
except Adam Johns, who fucking fed him all that information because he was afraid to run it, because he didn't want to end up like Patch Adams, the fucking Pulitzer Prize winning punk ass. You know?
I think it was Johnsy.
Oh, absolutely. DBB's all fucking. That's his main contact. It's always been his main contact. He's tight with Sylvie, but Sylvie don't know shit.
What do you think Johns thinks his credentials would get revoked?
Oh, I think Johns had something and he couldn't corroborate it from anybody. And if you can't, like, it's just risky for him. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, like Johns just isn't with the Athletic that just got bought by the New York Times. You know what I mean? Like, Johns is no longer like fringe media. Like, people have to remember that,
Right.
Like he's almost to the point where he's like national media. So I just think I don't think he could get it corroborated from anybody else, and so because when has Jeff ever had that? Like Jeff had a lot of shit right. It's crazy. Like he had a fucking spreadsheet or something. Like somebody gave him a 5-paragraph essay of like what was actually going to happen, because motherfucker had bullet points. And the bullet points are like really, like they're really going down, which fun kills me because he's still a douche.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
Blind squirrel nut theory, broken clock right twice a day. We know this shit.
Yeah, I mean,
fucking Biscuits. What do you got to say for yourself?
I think he hedged a bet and got fucking lucky. The end. I'm not giving the log any credit.
The way Twitter reacted, though, It was like we all had something in the holster for him when he was going to be wrong, and the fact that he was right, it was like people had to unload just because, because.
Oh
really
yeah, well, because bro, we were like it was crazy because they dropped Nagy first, and we're like, okay, yes, okay, but a little bit like fuck, because I'm happy that he's gone because he needed to go, and I'm tired of his shit. Don't get me wrong, but there's a certain amount of sadness that goes with, because there was a point when we believed in dude and we loved all his shit and we loved his trick plays and we loved Club Dub and we fucking loved Boom and all that shit. I loved it. Now I hate it because I view it as fraudulent, but like I loved all that shit. And so it's kind of sad to see the fucking coach of the year get fired when we had all this promise. It's like another thing just gets blown away about 2018. Like, oh, remember that? You thought that was cool? That was bullshit.
Yeah, I never hated him like I disliked Trestman. Like Nagy was a good dude. You wanted to see it work for him, but it's just the result is what pissed me off more than anything, and the stubbornness.
Trestman was a good dude too, though.
Trestman is a
dude. Trestman's a creep.
Yeah, okay. And Nagy's creepy play sheet basement isn't
not even close to Trestman though. Like Trestman's like on some like Giesling Maxwell like crazy. Like fucking like child trafficking sites, bro. Like he's a creeper.
It's a realtor to realtor thing. I can just see right through it. Nagy's stuff.
Oh yeah, well that's cool, but I mean, we're not arguing whether or not Nagy's fraudulent. I just don't think he's a creep. I think Trestman was like a legit creep. Like him and Emery always gave me creep vibes. Like some eyes wide shut shit going on at night.
The hair, man. It was the hair.
I don't know about all that. He was just disconnected. At least Nagy had a player background. But anyway, I'm glad they're both gone, bro. I was happy as fuck.
Going back to the log, what about Jeff Hughes being wrong about the Olin Kreutz story? I mean,
yeah, well, so that's wild. Like that one is a trip because it's like, where the fuck why did he randomly go to bat? So people don't know, we talked about this a long time ago that because Kreutz said on his own show months ago, he mentioned this, that he was going to go work for Harry, and he got lowballed. All he said was the Bears offered him a position, but he told them I couldn't work for that low pay. They lowballed the shit out of him. So he had said that a long time ago. Nobody really ran with it, like, nobody really, it didn't become a big scandal. I mean, I tweeted about it, but like for whatever reason, it didn't really catch on. He wasn't ready to because Olin jumps in the fray on Twitter. He retweets, he quote tweets, he's in the game. Like he gets Twitter jiggy, and if he doesn't want to do anything, he has like an amazing ability to like not, you know what I mean? Like I'm always impressed by those dudes that get hammered in mentions. And then sometimes they fucking get in the fray and just box on Twitter, and then sometimes they just don't. It's like, how the fuck? Like, because even if you mute the conversation, like, shit still finds you,
Right.
So Olin said that, and then recently he decided to go on Peggy Kaczynski's podcast out of the blue and fucking drop the bomb that not only did they offer him lowball, but they offered him $15 an hour, and he was just like completely insulted. And it sounds like Harry Hiestand was probably like, I mean, who knows? That could have been the beginning of the rift between Harry and Nagy. I always have been fucking wondering what happened, because Nagy's a straight fool to give up on him, not figure out a way to work with one of the best offensive line coaches out there.
Not
What was your thought?
Defending the low ball offer, but when McCaskey touched on it, he seemed like he wanted to say something, but he wasn't going to. It seemed like an awkward silence for a minute there. Like he could have just thrown some ether out there. And did it.
Well, he did, because he said, basically you have to take everything Olin said with a grain of salt. And I think it's important, and obviously people probably fucking know this, but I think it's important to frame it with, then McCaskey gets asked at the fucking presser, Olin said this, what is your reaction to that? And George did. He was like, should I blast or let's just say, in his Ned Flanders-y fucking way, like that we always have to take what Olin says with a grain of salt. You know, like, I
You
mean,
know what? Honestly, his lack of we talked about Sam Mustafa, his lack of wanting to throw any kind of shade at him, even though he's a paying client. He also works for NBC Sports Chicago.
right.
He's getting paid now. If Mustafa ain't doing his job,
Yeah.
he should be open for criticism, and Olin's not done that.
I agree. And also, you know, I think it's interesting because NBC Sports Chicago and the Chicago Football After Show, they even make a joke about this on the promos, but they're not allowed to use the Bears. They have no agreement with the Bears. And
Right.
the Bears have said, you are not allowed to use Bears. They can't put Bears logos. They're not even allowed to fucking use the term Bears on their show.
I thought they had Bears in the end zone on their set.
They have Chicago.
No, everything is, and they have a whole promo that runs all the time. That's them joking, and they start bleeping out like it's like they're saying their normal shit, but it sounds like they're cussing. You know, like people do those bleep jokes. And so there's a lot of fucking water under the bridge with Olin Kreutz. Like, let's not, you know. I saw somebody bringing up ask Fred Miller. Like, come on. Like overall, any Bears fan knows that Olin's as a fucking badass, a leader. He was fiery.
Great player. I like the work he does I like the stuff he does on the after show. I think the salt started when he ended up on New Orleans.
Yeah. Oh, and he's talked about that. He's talked about that. He's been very open about that, in fact. But
it sucks. I understand, like, certain fans getting all hype. Everybody has to take a side. It just sucked. I just think the timing of Olin's statement sucks because it actually hurts. It could potentially putting that out there. Oh, the Bears are cheap right before we're looking for a coach. Kind of sucks.
Bro, so much about today sucked after. So I started out saying Nagy got fired, and there was a moment where we were like, here we fucking go. I even started being a cornball and pulling receipts, like, oh, you know, fucking dumbass style, and like, we thought for sure Pace was staying, right?
I started
for like 10 minutes, 20 minutes it took for fucking the next shoe to drop, and I was like, oh, I started to feel fucking.
Yep.
I started to feel sick. Like it was like, yeah, Nagy, and then it was like, okay, what the fuck? What the fuck? It's like they're really not doing it. But then I was like, oh, I want Jeff to be wrong. So I kind of got hyped a little bit again. Like I was like, all right, well now it's time to load up. I was ready. And it's like you said, Diddy, we were so ready to unload on dude that it didn't matter what happened. We were just gonna be like, oh!
And then you're like, oh, he's right. Fuck him. Like right away.
It's so. Oh, it's so
reacting. Who goes an asshole? Okay.
It's so juvenile. That's so fucking juvenile.
It's almost like we were so ready for Pace not to be gone. Everybody had so much ammo in the holster just to bitch about Pace not being gone and the blog being wrong and on Twitter today that, like, of course there had to be something to bitch about. So like what did we expect? Listen to McCaskey address everybody. You knew it was going to be a fucking shit show. They're so corny that he has to go like this. He's like, and I want to thank, like, you can't get a teleprompter up in that bitch.
The fact that I know this has been brought up a million times, but the fucking fact that the Bears had the audacity to want Bruce Arians to do a mock press conference, like that's like
with the example of the owner, like.
Right. That's like if I was hiring a dancer and Fred Astaire showed up and I was like, well, let me see if you can dance. Like, and it's like, motherfucker, you don't, like, the Bears know next to nothing about press conferences. They're the most fucking backward PR, like mom and pop bullshit. Like, they just got a curtain with the logos on it, like, last year, dude.
I mean, on that American Idol, did Lovey blow them away with his presence at pressers?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
we're gonna get off the bus running the football.
But it's like, who fucking thought of that? It's a stupid Emery's ass, right? Because he wanted to get his boy in there. I don't know. It's fucking wild. So you know, here goes George. Here goes fucking George. You know, at least he's on time. And he starts out by, like, awkwardly talking about Jeff Dickerson. which he then transitions into. You know, Matt Nagy's son is the same age, and then he fucking does this fucking crazy, insane contortion act to somehow get over to basically admonishing the fan base for the fucking 12 assholes at Nagy's kids' high school game that yelled "Fire Nagy." He's like basically telling us that Pace's kids and Nagy's kids didn't sign up for this. Like, what the fuck is like? It was so bizarre.
And this is a couple $1 billion organization that couldn't even write him a good speech.
Thank you. Like, BR fucking basics. So he starts off just, I mean, dude is awkward as shit no matter what. Like, he could be up there reading my winning lottery numbers and I'd be like, cringe. You know, like, it's like I wouldn't even be like, oh, I won the lottery. I'd be like, oh, George, like, God, be better. You know, like.
Bill Polian should have been up there with him, eh? You were right.
Absolutely. If Bill Polian came out there with George and fucking whoever they want and Soup, let Soup come out. Woo, Soup come out like, whoa, Soup in the house. Like, whatever the fuck. If that shit happened, it would have been like, oh, snap. Like, if I'm the Bears, I would have done that. I would have had, like, smoke and fucking lights and fucking and
Bill
fucking
Polian's old
and fucking Bill Polian comes out like full on WWE style. Bill Polian like the motherfucking Undertaker, like fucking lightning bolts and shit. Like, I would have just, because they could do it. We were at Bears 100 and they put on some fucking stage shows with some lights and some fucking choreographed, you know, sound effects and video, and like it was a production. Like, it surprised me. Like, you know, the Bears are like, you know, like you think a literal slideshow is going to get shown. Oh, I got to change the tray. Kids, there's fucking people that on Twitter don't even know what the fuck that is.
Let's throw this around.
That's the sophistication level.
Biscuits, how you feeling about Bill Polian being the guy that ultimately is making the suggestions on everything?
79-year-old.
I mean, I think it's better than Ernie Accorsi, but 10 years removed from the game, wants to change players like Lamar Jackson to wide receivers. I mean, we could do a lot worse. It's a lot better than just having George and Ted make the decision. Eventually, at the end of the day, George was always going to have to hire a non-football guy. So, indifferent, I guess, is ultimately the way I feel.
What about you, Jay?
Jer?
Oh, my personal thought on it is he did build a Super Bowl winner. It came at the expense of Rex Grossman and his fumbleitis. But he does have a ring.
See, and that coming from you is a big deal, because if you guys don't know, you probably know if you listen to the show, that Jer fucking hates the Colts, like a lot.
Thank you.
Like, Jer hates the Colts a lot. So for him to give Bill Polian credit, not only because he hates the Colts, like, I think you hate the Colts regardless of the Super Bowl in 2006, don't you?
Yeah.
Like, it goes back prior.
Oh, yes. There's straight up hatred. But
so I think it's kind of that means something that you're being complimentary of Bill Polian.
It's got to be better than maybe what it was. I just don't know how much pull he's got, because we learned also that Sweaty Teddy's going to be involved with it, just like George is, just like Lamar Campbell is. See, I can actually say
he did it.
Man, I can't remember the lady's name. Forgive me. But, you know,
I mean, I'll say
how much does he actually have? You know, how much say does he actually get?
Bro, I don't know.
He's the reason why Pace is gone.
Well, that is true.
So I gotta give him credit there. It's Tanisha Wade, by the way.
So here's the thing.
And I'm sure there's more people working for Polian that are helping out too.
There's a little bit of like, it's kind of six in one hand, half a dozen the other, because like everybody, and including myself at times, you know, whether tweeting from the show page or tweeting from my own thing, like have said a president apparatus is needed. We have wanted a layer between the GM and Ted and George. And we of course have been saying it needs to be a football guy. That's a consensus. I mean,
he directly addressed that.
Yes, but he did last year because he got peppered with questions about it last year during the fucking train wreck of a press conference.
I mean, how many NFL teams have that set up?
No, and that's what's fucking crazy is we're asking for a thing that's actually like pretty rare. I'm not
like
you know,
I was telling them before we started
but...
in Buffalo, Pagula's wife sits in the same position as Ted Phillips.
Yes, like that's what's crazy is that Bears fans are so laser focused on their own team. There's so many fucked up ownership, GM relationships in the NFL. Like they're mostly fucked up. Even the ones that aren't fucked up are still kind of fucked up. Like, you know what I mean? Like we act like there's this idyllic arrangement out there. Like all you have to do is do it this way. Like. I mean, at the end of the day, like these dudes, if they stick around long enough, are going to end up in a toxic relationship, a professional football relationship. Like, you know.
Didn't you say that you're back to our original point about the Bill Polian? Didn't the Colts get rid of him and then bring him back?
You know better
than talking about that, Brian.
They did in 2017. So Polian was the guy that Irsay brought back, and I believe that was the Chris Ballard and originally Josh McDaniels' decision, but they ended up bringing Riken. That's I didn't get to kind of share my feeling on it. That's the only reservation I have because if McDaniels was his first choice then and how things worked out, will he? Unprofessionally not suggest McDaniels because of how things fell through, and I hope that's not the case.
But even if every single person is going to have that kind of experience bias, it's part of the game. So what I was trying to say, like, is here's what I think is that, like,
and there was more to it with McDaniels too. I agree,
but everybody has a history, and especially somebody that's 79 years old. Like this dude's, I think Polian's
been history.
But
yeah, like Polian's
McDaniels
been in football for like fucking 50 years.
McDaniels was their first choice.
Right.
But when you hire somebody to consult or whatever, you have to, well, actually, this is what's funny. A normal person would do a bunch of vetting of the person that you fucking want to, lead you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you'd be like, oh, I'm not sure if I should follow that person. Let me find out. We need some help. And that's not how George did it. Like, George literally, like, in the middle of the losing streak was like, oh, we can't take it anymore. Call somebody. Like, we just have to call somebody. And then Virginia is like, why don't you read this book? It's Bill Polian's book. And Bill Polian, like, reads the book and is like, oh, by golly, we've got to get that guy. Like,
I think he's contracted out to the NFL, is he not?
He's in the Hall of Fame. He had a big hand in the Panthers building there, I believe.
Right.
Yeah. The Colts, the Bills back when they had Levy. Like he's got a track record. People keep saying he's been removed from the game like you did Biscuits for 10 years, but 17 was not that long ago when he helped the Colts out.
But I think the other thing that's interesting is that, like, he I don't know how connected he still is, but
I'm sure he's pretty connected, dude.
Right.
To play devil's advocate, though, with the hiring of the team president thing, hiring a team president doesn't guarantee you success.
No.
But I think that the argument is that the Bears have been doing it this way for so long, and it's proven to not be effective.
Right.
So what would be the harm in switching it up and going with that president of operations? George admitted today that he's not a football guy; he's a fan, but he's the one that's going to hire the GM, and it's going to report directly to him.
Yeah, I think they opened the door, though, because they basically said Ted Phillips is going to be out of the process. It's going to go straight to ownership.
But then George immediately
we're not out of the woods with having the structure we want. Polian may suggest that. We don't know. They just fired the coach. And the GM.
Well, they asked him directly though, and he said the GM would be running the football ops.
So the purpose of this press conference, if I'm planning this press conference and I'm the PR person, what I say to George is, what you want to do is hit on the positives. We want to introduce the team that we have assembled, and the team is the reason that we feel confident in the decision that's going to be made. We know that we have done a bad job. We know that we have failed in the decision-making process, and we own that. So now we are, again, conscripting the help of this person, Hall of Famer Bill Polian. He has done X, Y, and Z. He has led X team to this, he has this. He is decorated in these ways. This is why we believe that he will lead us. This is his team, Tony Dungy, blah, blah. This is our team. Lamar Campbell. Fucking, what's her name? Tanisha Davis?
Tanisha Wade.
Give us some background. Here's the concept. How about you just say that the development of Justin Fields is the utmost importance going forward.
He is so.
We'll wait to see what they think.
He is so fucking afraid to say something that is going to get used against him. That's going to get weaponized, against him. That he won't say shit. But then in trying to not say shit, he ends up saying worse things.
And he brings up 2 players' names out of a 53-man roster.
Because this is what he fucking does. He's a fucking weirdo. Like, he should never have been allowed to talk for an hour.
I just wanted
I was literally like,
and Monty. That's it. Okay.
Well, and this was the Dick
he also brought up Bojack and
Jalen, but not by name.
Not by name, but by action.
Right. But so we forgot about this. So the first Dick tease was that we thought Pace was gonna get retained. And that was like a blue ball. Like we were fucking ready to blow. And then they announced the presser. So let's like the sequence of this is fucking unbelievable. They announced the presser and they say it's just George. And so we all start spinning out. The reporters fucking, all start spinning out. Oh, it's just George. What does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? And it's like, oh fuck. Jeff is right again. I was like, God damn it. Like, this motherfucker gets another one. So we're sitting there, and then it's just George. And we're like, okay, what the fuck? This could be interesting. He starts out, it's super awkward. He calls the dude soup. I'm like, we're off to the races. This is a train wreck. So, fucking, then it's like, oh, by the way, Ted is on the call.
Cut screen.
What? I was like, you motherfucker. Like, Ted is on the fuck. Yep. Like, God, I was so mad. And then I was like, and then after a while, he talked for another 10 minutes. I was like, please let Ted talk. Like, please, God. Like, show us that he's really there because it was getting fucking weird. And here's Ted with his angle.
And then he said he trusts his judgment.
Well, so he tried to fucking say that Ted is now just handling the business of Arlington Heights, which is a runaway freight train, biscuits. Fuck out of here.
It's dead.
Arlington Heights is a runaway freight train.
Dead before conception. He doesn't even have a sketch art of what it might look like.
He's just saying that the league's got that shit already, bro. Goodell has that shit laid out for them. You think they're gonna let the Bears design that thing? Hell no, bro.
They have no money. And Arlington,
the league will literally fucking launder the money directly to Virginia's account to get this shit done. They want this so bad. They want Bears land so bad, dude.
It's like, dead on arrival.
They want the Super Bowl in Chicago like you don't understand.
They were so non-committal about it, though. And they even made it a point to reference the fact that the purchase agreement still had to close, that they were in early exploratory phases, but in the meantime would still go back to the table with the Park District and the city of Chicago.
That was the softball-esque fucking...
Dude, they could have really gone out there and really sold the dream of Arlington to take the pressure away from the failure.
That would have been smarter from a PR standpoint, but they were actually pretty honest.
You know what's going to happen? I guess the city of New York is trying to sue the Giants and Jets for like I heard $6 billion today. Have you guys heard about that?
Really? No, I didn't hear that.
About using New York. You know, freaking Chicago is going to go hard in the paint with that if they move to Arlington. But it's actually, that's a different state, though. I mean, they're in Jersey, so that's a whole different ballgame. But I mean, you don't think these networks that have to come and do a production on at Soldier Field are bitching too? Like, there's pressure to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah. So Ted fucking shows up, and it's like the big thing with George is that he completely contradicted himself. He said Ted's moving over to the business side. He said Ted's handling Arlington Heights because it's going to be such a big project. So whether that's a cover for just Ted getting low-key demoted, or if it's real, I think it tends to be real. I don't think he got demoted because he immediately said that he trusts him implicitly and that Ted will be involved in the GM decision. So it's like we assembled this fucking heavy hitter squad, right? Oh, but Ted's still there. What the fuck? I mean, we shouldn't be surprised.
As soon as I heard Ted Phillips' name, I pretty much zoned out. I was like, really?
Oh, and, but George just kept going. Like, George was fucking, he was going to say some words. And, and then he throws Owen under the bus and looks like a jag for that. And he went, the David Haw thing was unbelievable.
David Hall's response was legendary.
Oh my God. So he's fucking muted. And they're like, you're muted.
That's pretty dope, though.
You're muted. George is like, you're muted. And then David Haw comes on and is like, oh, I'm sorry, you couldn't hear me. And George is like, that was your best question ever.
He's like, but I'm sure I'm going to get an answer just as good.
Yeah, he's like, he's basically like, I'm about to get an answer that's just as good, And George is like, I just unleashed my best salvo of all time. And he flamethrown me.
Oh, I gave him a real zinger.
Yeah, I unleashed a humdinger of a burn. I said, pass the hot sauce.
I mean,
he just shot it back in my eye.
With the current structure that the current structure that he put out there, man, the GM hire is going to be extremely important.
Bro, they said, who set him up for asking how Virginia felt? Oh, I can't remember.
Was it Johnsy or?
Bro, like that was like on a tee. Like that was almost like a PR plant question. Because George was so excited. Like George was so excited to fucking, well, let me tell you.
Sounded like Norman Bates.
We want to win for Virginia. I can't do this. It's like Ned Flanders. We want to, I don't know what the fuck it is. But he says, basically we want to win for Mother in this fucking weird, unique way.
Like only a mother could say.
Yeah.
I'm very disappointed.
She tell me. She's very disappointed.
Don't use the stat voice as the George McCaskey voice, did he? Come
What's
on
the
now.
stat? Oh.
That's pretty similar.
That's a stat voice.
It's like Jonathan Wood voice or something.
Super nerdy white guy voice.
Jonathan Wood. Jeff Hughes. Bro, I just it was just painful, and I'm sorry to harp on the soup shit. Like, I'm sorry to go on a tangent but the soup shit. Like, what's fucked up to me is that it's a professional fucking presser being put on by a
Bigsy.
Yeah, he's so folksy. Like, it's like, I wish he had an accent, because if George McCaskey had like a folksy Southern accent, all the shit would play. Like everyone would be like, oh, like they give him a pass. But because he sounds like fucking Ned Flanders, and he's
not
so,
everybody can have it like me.
He's so uptight, like if he was all folksy, he's like, what, Bigsy? He, like people would be, in the way that, even though Jerry Jones is an absolute psychopath, like people like him because he's got that fucking Texas.
Now that's an interesting name. Would you have rather him acted like Jared Jones?
Well, I mean, listen, it's so easy to take shots at him, but my thing is just like, he seemed to go out there with like a piece of paper, and I kept
He
thinking
did.
about
You could actually hear him turn the
I
page.
kept thinking about Jonathan Hood. Did he always does those? There's Sir George. Hello, dear Bears fan.
Yeah.
like, thank you for writing to the Bears.
Bolts up.
Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace are football guys. Russell the fucking paper, and now I'll send it to the Courier. Like, it's so dead on. Like, all I could hear was that. Like, I was like, oh my god, like this is really fucking happening. Like, and so it's like they've got this guy that they hired, and it sounds like, you know, a cool position, right? Like, it's supposed to be, I think, this like liaison between the management and the players. That's not a coach, you know? It's almost like a cool HR guy, you know, like, or something. Is this role? He's like VP of player engagement. Former player Lamar Soup Campbell, right? Like, everybody's fucking Soup. If you're Campbell, you're just Soup. Like, those are the hockey rules and football rules. Deal with it. Whatever. But you're the fucking CEO or the chairman of the board of $1 billion corporation or entity, not a corporation, but entity, like business entity that, you know, you should have the fucking wherewithal to think, I'm introducing this man for the first time in a huge role for a huge company. Maybe I shouldn't call his ass Soup like I'm one of his boys. Or I'm fucking, you know, one of the players on the team with him. Like, I'm sure it's cool behind the scenes, right? Everybody calls him Soup, and George thinks it's super fresh to call somebody Soup because he's never really had any friends and he never got to go outside and skin his knees, you know? Like, but it's bullshit. Like, you should have introduced him as Lamar Campbell. Like, I don't know. I just found it really, like, it rubbed me the wrong way.
I'm really happy Pace and Nagy are going, though.
Yeah, but, like, where are we?
The only person that should be consulted is Soup to see if he's offended or not.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's not, it's like, no, sometimes you can realize that the optics of something is fucking awful, you know? And it's like, it's just.
As your first public introduction, I mean, a lot of people
could have used Lamar once.
Yeah, you could have called him by his proper name.
Didn't use it like once. I'm just saying it's very, I don't know, it's very belittling. I felt like I was just like, George is so detached. It's not intentional.
Unprofessional, but yeah. I don't know what we expected going in. Like,
nothing, because he's
watching that almost just made you're already in the mindset where you want something to bitch about watching him.
Yeah, it's true. But
that's true.
I just feel like, can they ever get anything right? Ted said he didn't.
They got something right today. They let both these fuckers go.
But then Ted said he didn't regret hiring them. I'm not necessarily saying I expect him to say he did regret hiring them in so many words, but it's like you can't be like, no. Like, they really acted like these guys did something great for the Bears.
Well, I mean,
because Ryan Pace built the building, and they won some awards, and they made them a fucking lot of money.
They brought them up to date.
Yeah, I guess.
You've got some. There's pieces there though that are there because of Pace.
Why don't you just insult an interior designer at that point?
Though? But that's a good question. Did Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy move the Bears forward in any way on the field? We can say probably not overall, but off the field, did the contributions of those guys and their success or whatever, do they leave a positive impact in their wake mostly, or is it mostly messes that we have to clean up?
I think
you got just
go ahead. I was just gonna say there's a modern vibe to the team that wasn't there before. I don't know if Pace. I can't.
Only because they were so behind. Like, if you're behind the whole day and then you finally take the lead, I don't know if I give you as much credit as if you were in the lead from the beginning. Go ahead, Jared.
Go, Jared.
No. Oh, fuck. I lost what I was going to say.
I think what Jared was going to say is, who the fuck cares? The Bengals have a TV cart as their microphone podium.
I know. Well,
and they have like the most explosive young offense in the NFL. So I don't give a fuck
Well,
how.
and that's what's fucked up
okay.
is we nitpick and nitpick and nitpick. If they just got a quarterback right once, nobody would give a shit.
Yep.
You figure
None of it would matter.
You got Justin Fields here, right? It counts.
Does it?
You got Khalil Mack. You brought in Robert Quinn. You drafted Montgomery. I want
to know, what does having Justin Fields count for? Just I'm playing devil's advocate kind of, but sometimes
future.
Does it?
I mean,
Yeah.
if you have a future possible franchise quarterback, then you have to give him that credit.
I just wish we had seen him play a little bit more. Like I feel like he hadn't.
Put yourself in the mind of a GM or a head coach, a future head coach, and you're looking at a team with Andy Dalton leaving and Nick Foles on the roster with nothing else.
Oh, I'm being an asshole. Obviously, Fields' presence there has merit. I'm just fucking being a scarred dumbass. Like, I get it. Like, he obviously has a lot of value. It's just sometimes you feel like, I don't know how much. And that was a fucking question that he got asked too, was like, what if a prospective candidate doesn't want Fields or isn't, it doesn't feel that Fields is a long-term answer? Does that invalidate them? And George, instead of fucking answering it, was like, well, I don't like to deal in hypotheticals. And somebody came in, his buddy Haw, Haw piggybacked another person's question. That's a sophisticated Zoom move. I don't know that Haw was even called on. I think Haw jumped lines. When he came out of nowhere with the fucking, well, what if, and he's like, well, right there again, you said if. Hypothetical, I win.
Shout out Potash, too.
Potash went there.
He did go there today. Once again, he's the only one that holds any of their records into account.
Yep.
Yeah.
He asked him straight up.
Yo, and Joe Lewis, our boy Flo Zandolini from fucking Barber Chair. He got up there, he got his question. He had a good question. He was like, why haven't you considered somebody younger? Bill Polian, 79, has been out of the league for 10 years. I'm paraphrasing. Not to – and I love that he just fucking said it real. He's not to shade your age, but – and I was like, I don't know if George is going to understand what that meant. That was oh shit, he lost George. He's talking way too normal. He's not using fucking speech from the 40s. He's not going to fucking. So and he was like, wow, and he actually got it. He was like, well, young Joseph. So wild. I was
using proper names at that point.
Yes! Okay, young Joseph, I bet you got a nickname too. Hoop. Your name's probably Hooper. What's your nickname, fella? Joseph? You know what I mean? You know what we're fucking saying about George. He's just sheltered.
A team that didn't hire Arians because he didn't want to do a little press conference American Idol thing. Puts that out as
irony.
As the message from ownership.
The irony, bro. The irony that they had the audacity to ask him. That's he was just wait, who?
What about when they asked him if Nagy asked him if he could start the quarterback?
Whoa, and he was insane too.
I wasn't even comfortable, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
What was the question?
He said that Nagy asked him who should he start. And George was like, I'm not comfortable being asked that. It's what desperate fucking weird collaboration station mode was Nagy in at that point, where he was just God. George, who's gonna start? Motherfucker, he's like, I got Dalton and we screwed the pooch by saying he could start. I don't know why I did that, but I fucking did that. Like Ira Biscuits. Fucking he says he's basically
dropped me on the pod, man.
I was anyway.
It's all right, Cisco.
Yeah, Cisco Kid. So, but no, but it's like, listen, like it's like as if Nagy sold a house and the buyers are expecting a pool, and there's no fucking pool.
Let's not go too deep in the real estate. Jared gets all torqued up.
But like, oh man, like it's just so crazy. Like he fucking really asked this dude because he's got Andy Dalton, he's got fucking Foles, who basically is like, fuck you, deuces. I'm not I'm ready to fucking out you in a drop of a hat. You leave me the fuck alone. Let me tear up these threes, you motherfucker. And he's got Justin coming in. He didn't know what the fuck to do. He was so scared. He fucking so scared. He probably called Bill Lazor in the middle of the night like, Bill, what are you fucking do?
And the worst thing I think he said out of everything he said was, "I'm just a fan."
Yeah.
Oh God.
Like there's a board of directors or whatever you want to call that group that oversees everything.
The McCaskey family plus McKenna and Ryan.
Sure, but it doesn't have to be a McCaskey. Like we didn't get the full restructure we all desperately want. Like it could be, you could put anybody in George's position. Just put somebody more polished. Gee, like come on.
It's
like
just I don't know what we were expecting.
I was talking to somebody that I trust, and they were saying Brian McCaskey's actually ready for this, but there's a system in the McCaskey family that we have to wait till George is done, and then you go to the next oldest. It's this whole thing, but I guess Brian is the one that should be in charge.
Chosen?
They're stuck in there.
Chosen one?
Well, and there's a you know, the Reinsdorf has a similar dynamic, but it's his son. So I don't know. I just fucking like, it's like every time I shouldn't let this get to me. I should just be like, oh, whatever. The messenger is always gonna be fucked up because this is who this team is, and I shouldn't let it fucking affect me. But it's like, it's just when you see it happening, like it's just so offensive sometimes. Like you feel like a fucking sucker for dedicating yourself to this bullshit. Like you feel like I fucking care about the team that's run by this fuck. Like, what is wrong with me? Like, it's just very, I don't know. It still just fucking cuts you the way he's so pathetic.
Georgia's up 14 with a minute left.
What?
Sorry. Georgia.
Is that for real?
That's
it was
for
like
real.
9-6 at the half.
32-18. Sorry.
Good for them.
That's why I'm making all the hand
Alabama.
gestures in the background. I'm like, holy fuck.
Fuck Alabama.
Fuck them hard.
Ryan
Nick
Pace
Saban might be available.
Ryan Pace is so mad.
Should we effort and
Right.
So the McCaskey stuff's so negative. Like, let's just talk about the future a little bit. Like, so Brian Flores gets fired, and Bears fans are like, we should bring Flores in. The reports I'm getting out of Miami, this dude is very like rough to deal with. Like, he's a Belichick guy. He's hired 3 offensive line coaches, 2 offensive coordinators. Yeah. Is
it 4 offensive coordinators?
3? Is it 4?
I think it's 4 total.
That's what I'm saying.
How many did Lovey go through? Time out. How many did Lovey go through?
Yeah, but Lovey.
Brian Flores has only been there for 2 seasons.
True. One of them on coke.
No, that's the other coach. That was like Sperano or some shit. I don't even know who that was.
I think it's Dolphins. I think it's cocaine.
That was Gaze.
These are the guys that Bill likes, though. They're rough.
Right.
They're not for everybody. So
they're no nonsense. They do their job. They're fucking plow ahead. Like they're really, like
abrasive was the word they used.
Yeah. Yes. And dude, he fucking mishandled the Tua Fitzpatrick shit so embarrassingly badly. Like, and they end up going 10-6 in that season somehow. Like, I think that team is like good in spite of him. Like, they're not good because of him. Like, I don't see it. Like Tua is just good because he's fucking fueled on like all the haters, and I think
good though.
He's not, but he's talented, and they're not really figuring out the right ways to use him. Like
your head would have exploded from the 1,000 callers today. Someone called in and said we should hire Brian Flores specifically because of his quarterback development with Tua.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Like, what are they talking about? He had game like his second game. He was like 10 for 30 or something like that. And the game, he was so bad that they put Fitz back in. Like Flores swallowed his pride and scrapped his whole stupid plan because Fitzpatrick was pissed. Fitzpatrick was like, "Yo, I was rolling, and they were only 3-3," but he was like, "What the fuck? Yeah. This was my team." You know,
I mean, all the hate I get when I mention McDaniels, right? Like, and you're gonna tout Flores, like.
It's crazy, bro. Like people. I've always said about McDaniels that he's good and they should hire him, but the Bears just won't because they're stupid. Like, but people will actually try to tell you that McDaniels is a bad guy and that's why we shouldn't hire him. And then in the same breath, they'll be like, "We need a take charge, Jim Harbaugh type." It's like, who do you think is that? That's McDaniels. He's a fucking. He's just a dick. Like he doesn't fucking like put on this air of like I'm everybody's dad, you know. Like he's just like, no, I'm a fucking savage.
He's
like
down there, dude, off the field though.
But in like he's a fucking savage. That's what I think about him is like, and people can't handle that energy. Like
he doesn't care. He doesn't care if he's liked, which is the opposite of Nagy. Nagy
absolutely
cares if players like them.
And what did Potash was like? So basically, are you guys done with this nice guy shit? Like, because you know, it didn't really seem to work out. Like everybody collaborating and getting along and like being buddy like this nice guy shit. You know, of course, I'm paraphrasing like fuck, but
actually,
like,
the funny thing about that, I was listening to the Dolphins presser today. They said the same shit. Collaboration. I was just like, oh, that nerd. Oh, that word. Oh. So go for that. Go for your collaboration.
I don't mind a coach that comes in and makes people uncomfortable.
That's a fucked up thing that Pace did for his own. Is he should not have tied himself to. He shouldn't have tied himself to Nagy. Like he had it all set up so he could blame Nagy for everything. He should have just went along with firing Nagy at last season, like, and he would still be here. But the
whole players coach thing. You have to strike a balance with that too. You're not their friend. You're their leader,
right?
You have to.
You also got to remember their kids. You know, I think we forget it. Yeah, I mean, they're in their 20s, 21, 22. What were you doing?
You know why? Also, I'm excited that Pace got fired. Is that now I think more shit will come out. Like so I forgot to mention this. The players' presser went off like it was like normal. Like somebody forgot to cancel the players' presser.
I didn't hear Daniels. I don't even know if they put it
and
up.
Nobody heard it because it didn't go out. But the media still was allowed to ask the questions. They didn't.
George didn't even know it.
George had no fucking idea. He completely misunderstood the question that he was asked. He was asked, "Why did you guys let the players talk before you?"
It's like, well, in this day and age,
he's like, "Well, you can't control that." It's like, no, you totally controlled that. You put them out there.
Oh, the social media shit. That's what he said. He can't control social media.
But because he thought that's what they meant. He was not aware that the presser happened. They put James Daniels out there, and James Daniels found out in a Discord chat, like gaming. Seriously, people say he found it on Twitter, but I read an article where his actual quote. He's talking about being in a Discord chat. So he's fucking just gaming away, because that's what most of these guys do. It's COVID. What the fuck are they going to do? They're just chilling. They're just fucking gaming. And he finds out in a Discord chat that Nagy's been fired. And he's like, wait, I guess I have to do a presser now? Like,
so is that a strike against Soup?
That's yeah, actually, where was Soup? Motherfucker, you're supposed to be in that Discord chat with him, like managing that shit.
I thought he addressed the whole team this morning.
But Daniel said he found out prior to that.
Oh, okay.
So, like, what I bet is that Pace was like, watch this. I'm not going to cancel the player fucking pressers.
No.
Just fuck them. Like, he was probably fired at 8 o'clock in the morning, and he was like, schedule, cancel player pressers. That ain't my job anymore. Fuck it.
The foreshadowing of Biggs' video of them both walking out together after everyone left, too.
Right, and so then, yeah, exactly. So then fucking Montgomery goes out there, and it's like, what are you doing? Like, David Montgomery is so goddamn earnest and nice. Like, I know everybody's like, you don't really love him. He tries so hard. And it's like, come on, man. Like, give yourself some fucking credit. Like, he took a chance on a poor kid from Cincinnati. It's like, motherfucker, you earned that. You are talented as fuck. You worked so hard.
No doubt.
Like, why are you crediting these fucks? Like, everybody knew that dude was good. Like, I just thought that was weird. Like, it's like, what are you up there? Like, I get it, and that's his natural reaction. And so, you know, he's entitled to it, of course. But it's like, that was weird. Like, he went up there and, like, pined for them.
I think part of me wants George to let them kind of pine for him, too. I don't think it was a popular choice by him. I think
So this is a theory that I've been hearing put out there, is that maybe that's already a positive effect of Polian. I think we might have mentioned that a little bit earlier. But you said it, Diddy, that the reason Pace is fired is because of Polian's involvement already.
Biscuits, yeah.
Right? I mean, that's that. So, because it is, just like fucking Jeff Hughes said, I'm giving fucking credit to that guy.
George wouldn't have made that move. He would have kept Pace.
Yep.
And everybody thought he was going to. It was basically accepted that was happening. All the big fucking heads were saying that. That was the popular opinion, basically, among the media, that Pace was going to stay. It was just going to be in what regard? He could get kicked up. He could get moved sideways. But he was going to be around. Like, people were fucking convinced. So what happened that changed his mind? You hope that it was Polian, right?
Right.
He read chapter 8 of Bill's book that morning over his grapefruit and Ovaltine and decided
it might be something like that, bro.
And
like,
you know what the sad part is? That book wouldn't have been able to be written if we weren't the team that lost to them.
Yep.
God damn, that's gutting.
Nailed it.
And then he disappears. That asshole, he just crushed their hearts and then left.
See, like, this is what I'm saying about the Bears shit, is that it has levels. Like, weird-ass circular narratives that come back in that fucking way. And people think we're crazy for thinking it up. No, that shit's like, that just pops up because it's really part of the narrative. Like, let
me read a book of why we don't win.
Right. Like, because they got hurt. Oh my God, bro. It's so Bears. It makes my stomach hurt. Like, they
brought Tony Dungy and Bill Polian in.
Bro, like, those are your murderers. Like, Thomas Jones, I want to know where he's at. He's been laying low as fuck. Because he's pissed. He's like, you brought in who?
Yeah, that whole squad, man.
Who you gonna bring in? And then watch Peyton Manning. Could you imagine if Tony Dungy, Peyton was like, I guess you guys own the Bears. Before Aaron Rodgers purchased us at a cut rate at a yard sale, we were owned by fucking Peyton Manning, Tony Dungy, and Bill Polian. This ownership has now been reaffirmed.
I think Waddle and Sylvie they were talking about that in the crossover before they started their show about why not Peyton Manning. These are guys that the people they brought in to consult them are very close to him.
I don't think Peyton Manning wants to do it. I don't think he wants to do it.
It's kind of like the Trace Armstrong thing. He'd be walking away from too much.
Too much money and too much, like, freedom and too much, like, there's nothing really. Yeah. He's got a big pie. Peyton Manning's doing just fine. He's already got a shit ton of money in the bank. Like, and he's telling the fucking league when he'll do the Manning cast. He's like, no, we don't want to, like.
We don't want to do it when the Bears are on.
I'm just worried it's going to be the same way Ernie Accorsi. You have the consultants coming in with no skin in the game, make the recommendations, and then they're out. And they're not here to do the fallout.
Absolutely, and they're doing it again. They did it. They've done this before. This is the third time now that they'll basically be using a consultant. Like it's it's just we're just honestly hoping that this time's the third time's a fucking charm. I guess.
I think that's fairly normal practice, though.
It is when you don't know football, 100%.
It is. Well, it is not to the extent, but I think you're right.
The Ravens still have Ozzie around as a consultant.
There's a very yes, but they
didn't consult anybody to originally get Ozzie, though. I think you would be crazy if you're Baltimore not to consult Ozzie at that point.
Yeah, right, I don't know. I don't know if when they hired Ozzie, if they hired a consultant. I'd have to
fair. I actually don't know that either. That's fair. Right. I don't think they did, but that's a fair question.
There's also something that is happening right now where there's this huge push for diversity hires. And George thinks he's like the fucking he thinks they won that somehow. They're now the leaders in inclusion and diversity. And maybe they are, but he really takes credit for that. I'm not going to comment on whether or not that's legit. It's not really my area of expertise, but I will say it looks a little cringy when he kind of comes out and is like championing this, especially when you consider Bill Polian's comments about Lamar Jackson. Like, and people will tell you some other comments, that Bill Polian's made that are a little questionable and are not so inclusive and diversity friendly as maybe George seems to think he is now. Like, they think they're like on the cutting edge of like progressive.
I saw some comments out there in the Twitterverse today about him, but like at the same time, Caldwell and Dungy were his hires, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Agreed, but those guys are, those guys are kind of yes men to a certain degree. I mean, Tony Dungy's super mild mannered. You know what I mean? This isn't like fucking, some outspoken coach like Herm Edwards or something. You know what I mean? This is Tony Dungy. Like, he's chill McGill.
So they've been showing that he wouldn't have hired Coach Prime, is what you're saying.
Somebody was acting like that was a thing. I saw tweets where people were like almost like legitimately thinking that would be in play, like that somehow Prime Dion was gonna somehow find himself getting head coaching interviews.
Dude's worried about getting 5-star recruits there down in Jackson State.
And he's doing it. And he's doing it. By the way, like fucking crazy. Like that's changing the game. I mean, the fact that every school can now pay their players like all the big schools can is a game changer.
That's why when I saw that, I made like Harbaugh leaving Michigan and Day leaving Ohio State with the way the landscape's changing.
Their advantage is being taken away. It's the playing field is going to get leveled.
I'm surprised those names haven't popped up yet because they're attainable.
Like these teams are no longer going to have 3 fucking top recruit quarterbacks that they don't even want to play 2. Like, these quarterbacks were already transferring to fucking like, smaller schools, MAC schools, whatever. But now if they're going to go to the HBCUs and like literally anywhere, I mean, it's just going to thin out the talent for the top teams.
Indiana, you got a chance.
Our competition got a little bigger.
Somebody coastal.
I didn't expect the Miami firing, so we got Miami as competition right now. The Raiders,
Minnesota.
After the Raiders get knocked out, and then we got Minnesota, Houston.
Yeah, the Raiders have found themselves in a pickle because they can't fire that guy.
No,
and if he fucks around and wins a playoff game, he's got to get at least a contract. Because that's a mess. He inherited a goddamn mess. Like, what a mess!
For sure.
In Vegas.
And he's got him in the playoffs.
Yes, and that was the craziest shit ever, man. That game was insane.
Through the Darren Waller injury, too, which is one of the biggest pieces to that team.
Right. Fucking, I remember when fucking Bears Twitter was trying to tell me us that we were assholes for wanting Derek Carr. Oh, what a stupid idea. Derek Carr sucks. Where are those people now, I wonder? Where are they?
Where are you at?
Yeah. Fuck out of here with the hating on Derek Carr. Like that guy, all he does is fucking put up
You
numbers.
can't throw a ball in under 50-degree weather. That was the argument.
It's like, oh my god, it's like literally every stadium's inside now.
Bro, I was getting that from a dude that wanted Jake Fromm, so it's all good.
Yeah, like crazy talk, bro. And then, that game was wild, and they were ready to settle for the tie, and fucking jumpy ass Staley. Justin Herbert is ridiculous. Yeah. Justin Herbert, I think, had more fourth down conversions than the Bears had first down conversions all season.
I didn't even watch.
Like Probably. Seriously, like incredible. I think, like it was like 4th and 9, boom, bang,
4th and 15.
4th and 15, no fucking problem. No fucking problem, bro.
So if you're a potential GM, you're in the plenty of GM jobs open. How would you view us versus Minnesota versus?
Well, that's speaking of Minnesota. So the next firing is Rick Spielman and Zimmer, right? Zimmer and Spielman are out together, and you got Bears Twitter jocking Rick Spielman.
Fuck no. Fuck.
What the fuck was that?
A lot of Viking fans like Spielman.
They like the guy that fucking gave Sam Bradford the bag, and then fucking gave Kirk Cousins like $100 million.
Josh Freeman, Christian Ponder.
I mean, sweet Jesus.
Eddie Bridgewater.
Sweet Jesus, Rick Spielman sucks, bro. Like
Spielman Frazier combo.
No.
Good God. Like, if we did that, bro, I'd be out. I would be out. Out.
To the Giants?
The podcast. I would go back to fucking, like, the fucking, like, like the Montreal Alouettes, bro. Like, I don't, like, bro. If they did that shit, fuck Rick Spielman, bro.
And Biscuits. Who do we have so far as candidates for head coach and GM?
So the 3 head coaching interviews: Leslie Frazier, Doug Peterson, Brian Dable, and the GM interviews: Director of College Scouting for the Colts, Morocco Brown, VP of Football Operations, Kwesi Adolfo Menza with the Browns, and VP of Players Personnel, Glenn Cook, also with the Browns. And it's also rumored by a certain log of Jeff Ireland also have been requested, but don't know if that's true or not.
I like the idea of Morocco Brown. He's been especially Polian. That was a part of the Polian the hiring process for the Colts.
Hey, but the fucking Chris Ballard, fucking bandwagon is mighty empty right now.
Still here, baby. Still here.
The Colts, bro, just got bitch slapped by the Jaguars in a win and you're in game.
So with their fans literally dressed as clowns.
Yes.
The Colts have not won in Jacksonville in the last 12 to 13 years.
I know, it's crazy. I know. It's crazy. I was in Jaguars Twitter for a while.
So let me ask you this. 3,500 yards, 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Is that good or bad? Would you take that as a Bears fan?
Oh, I'd kill for that. I would
just in general, 3,500 yards, 27 touchdowns, 7 picks, because that's what Carson Wentz did. That's what Carson Wentz did this year. So trading that first round pick it was a mistake for sure, but it's not a sinking torpedo. He's at least a bridge that'll get Chris to the next swing at quarterback. And he could do a lot worse. We could have Andy Dalton there.
To keep plugging in veterans, though, they haven't.
They will.
They haven't developed anybody. I mean, they went from.
They got lucky. They got lucky that not that they got lucky, but they were not expecting Taylor to blow up like that.
True, but he also drafted 2 All-Pros with his very first 2 picks. So let's not.
I'm down with dude. I'm just saying, like, I think the Wentz thing, and it's like, yeah, you stack up his stats like that, but when Wentz is bad, he's like losing the game bad.
Yeah, he's either super hit, super miss.
Yeah, and he will lose you the game when he's bad. Like, it goes so south. Like, it's like Rex Grossman crazy. Like, it's like 4 touchdowns or 4 picks, nothing in between.
So how are we feeling about these candidates so far at head coach? Because like I like Brian Dable's the guy we've all been talking about.
You could you sandwich them both? Could you just make it Buffalo Midwest?
I mean, out of the three, Dable's the best. I think Doug Peterson's the one that scares me the most.
I think
Yeah.
it's
But,
how do you think
hopefully-
Nagy, how do you think Nagy feels about that one?
Yeah, right.
I mean, Nagy's got to be raw right now. Like, let's not lie. Like,
He's
Nagy's
like, damn,
raw.
Doug, I invited you in the training camp, bro.
Yeah. But Doug would be like, hey, bro, fucking life is it. You don't know how shit goes. You know what I mean? Like, they get it. Like, it's like...
You just wonder, did he really? Did he really invite him?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
No,
think
he was
I
George-
see where your
George is
head's
already-
at.
Yeah.
He's already waiting to make an offer for that statue to Philly. He's going to bring
That's
it
what I'm
right over
saying.
to
We're
Arlington
looking-
Heights.
No, but here's what I'm hoping. Here's what I'm hoping is that the Peterson thing is an exploratory deal because a normal, smart organization interviews a lot of people to get information about themselves. You're supposed to use the interview process to fucking self-scout and to get smart people to tell you what you need to do, and then you decide what you agree with and what you don't agree with if you know what the fuck you're hearing. The problem with George is he doesn't know what the fuck he's hearing, and when somebody told them what they need to do, it was Chris fucking Ballard, and they felt offended by that. So who else are you missing? You're missing somebody. I don't think you mentioned Leslie Frazier.
Yeah, I did.
Well, let's talk about that. Is that good or fucking bad?
That's
think it's
terrible.
I think it's safe. I think
Because
Leslie-
your brother, Aaron Quinn, B. Diddy, fucking is like right in the middle of Cover One, Big Bill's, like the biggest Bills podcast thing out there. And
he's high on
he
him.
likes Frazier. He's fucking like, that's a great hire for you guys.
I mean,
And he wouldn't say that if he didn't believe it.
the defense has a swagger to them. They do. I mean, the guys.
They also, yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying they like him. They play hard for him.
Then why not just team them together here in Chicago? Dable and Frazier.
You're not plucking both of them. You'd have to give him assistant head coach to get him the move.
And I don't even think that and like Frazier wouldn't do that. He's been a head coach before. He would just chill for another offer. Like you have to promote both of them.
It's one or the other, yeah.
Like, so the other thing
Maybe.
that's out there.
I mean, you don't really know that though.
So the other interesting thing that's out there was the fucking Harbaugh Stephen Ross dynamic. So if people don't know, and I didn't know before today,
Dable is connected. He's been around long enough to put together a good staff too.
No, yeah. I think Dable gets a bad rap because Josh Allen's uneven. That's really it. Like, Josh Allen's fucking uneven at times, and he's had an uneven season this year, so everybody blames the coordinator. Kellen Moore gets blamed for Dak's failures. They also get credited for their successes, but, you know,
Dable's got a national championship ring and a Super Bowl ring.
Oh, Duke and coach. I mean, we just go through the soap opera of, this coordinator's up, this coordinator's down. Like, he's not the, he kind of cooled off as the hot name, he brought
McDaniels to New England. I brought that up before, but that's
so my thought. What I said this before was it'd be Frazier and Ken Dorsey because Ken Dorsey is the passing game coordinator, and he's quarterbacks coach, passing game coordinator, and among the Bills fans that did start to turn on Daboll this season, which there were a fair amount of because they blamed him for Josh Allen. They were saying that Ken Dorsey is the guy that makes the shit go, and Ken Dorsey's the one that turned Josh Allen around.
Was that quarterback coach we had here that they just loved so much that he survived
Rags?
fires?
Dave Ragone?
Dave Ragone, bro. Dave Ragone is like fucking Teflon. Like, how the hell? Like, Dave Ragone's like just keeps getting hired places and people don't even know. He's like, how the fuck do you work here? All right, fucking that's
OC
cool.
in Atlanta right now.
Yeah, like how, bro? Like he just keeps. That's how Nagy. That's how Nagy did it. Like Nagy did it on the low and just kept bobbing up and bobbing up and bobbing up and bobbing up, and it was like all of a sudden, like somebody was like, asked Andy Reid, "Who do you recommend?" Matt Nagy. He's my protege, and it was, like.
I'm gonna throw it around the horn here. Biscuits. Mm-hmm. Out of everybody mentioned so far, a head coach, who do you like the best?
Out of just that list of three?
Yeah.
Frazier, Daboll, and who?
Peterson.
Peterson.
Sadly, I'd have to go with Dable. If you're going to go with a retreat head coach, I at least want one that's had some success. So Frazier's out for me, and Peterson is too soon for me after Nagy. So give me Dable.
Yeah.
Give me Frazier.
Wow.
Head coach experience, defense is rocking and rolling in Buffalo. He can put some people around him. That would make for a very interesting hire. And Chicago loves what?
85
defense.
85 Bears. That's one reason why I
Defense.
don't want Frazier. I don't want anything else to do with the 85 Bears.
No, it's not just 85 Bears. It's defense.
I mean, if anything,
Would you take
the team.
Harbaugh? I know Harbaugh, whatever, but like Harbaugh's an old school Bear too.
The fan base has jocked the 85 Bears like no other. The fan base has milked that to death. I don't really know if the organization has actually gone to the 85 Bears well often enough, to be quite honest.
I
Like,
can't show the highlights anymore.
if anything, they've kind of they have done the opposite. They have not utilized those resources. I mean, people have already talked about
George brought it up today with Ditka.
I mean, it's all what what do you want your philosophy to be as you're the owner?
They don't know.
Do you want a ground and pound?
They want tough. What did he say? Tough, gritty, and what? What the fuck did he say? He wants tough, gritty, and
grindy.
I don't think there's one approach though. I don't think there's anything that says, "Hey, it's Chicago, so it has to be ground and pound and defense."
Well, that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. Nobody has
modern?
an identity. You know why offenses in Chicago don't have an identity? Because
there's never been any offenses in Chicago.
That and our ownership doesn't have.
Like, you don't learn the name of something that doesn't exist.
That's why I want McDaniels here. It's the identity is we're going to pick apart your weaknesses.
I think it's been brought up by a lot of people, and identity is huge. Harbaugh, you know what you're getting, right?
McDaniels.
Yeah.
McDaniels, you know what you're getting.
Two things.
Correct.
McDaniels watches that press conference and will never come here. Never, bro.
He's too smart for that.
Too smart. He has Kraft on his nutsack. Kraft loves that guy. Kraft's like, never leave me again.
But Jim Caldwell will come.
Jim Caldwell's a Bill Polian hire too.
Yep. They're setting it up to service a big dish of Jim Caldwell.
Oh my God, it's so set up. The appetizers are being served. And then Jim Caldwell's gonna have Jim Caldwell's gonna get fed the questions. This is how it's going down. Jim Caldwell's gonna know the interview questions ahead of time.
Rex Ryan.
Yeah, and they're gonna. Oh my God, Rex Ryan.
Name? Say the first name you said, Diddy. Say that first name again.
Marvin Lewis.
What the fuck? Bro,
someone said the name Jeff Fisher. I was like,
people just say shit.
I did hear that on
Anybody saying Jeff Fisher is just straight trolling.
And I love that Titans team back then, man, but no.
Oh, me too. But no.
Captain 8-8. Is Marty Schottenheimer dead? Can we get
Yeah, Marty. I think Marty did die.
Well, let's zoom his ass. That's a fucking coach that can't win in the playoffs.
What about an old name that Diddy didn't advocate for, but just brought up as a talking point the other week was Mike Shanahan. Is he too long in the tooth to come back?
Bring back the rat.
I was really fucking around, but when you really think about it, Marv Levy started with the Bills older than freaking Shanahan.
Yo, Marv Levy is unbelievable, bro. Marv Levy runs up and down the lake. He doesn't anymore now that he's in his 90s. But 10 years ago when he was in his 70s, you would see, and I saw him a couple different times, you would see Marv Levy running on the lake in Chicago. And not just shuffling old man style. This dude was running. He was 70 and he was straight running. He's unbelievable. And he's part of the fucking team.
Isn't Shanahan a Chicago guy too? think he is.
No, I don't know. Is he? I don't think he is. Maybe.
Oh, he's from Oak Park, Illinois.
Oh, so he is a Chicago guy. Yeah, that's on the Oak Park's on the train.
That would be a
line goes to Oak Park.
That would be a off the radar hire.
They won't even like Paul. This you're right though. Like Polian's got his fucking Rolodex. Like literally, it's like a Rolodex, like of people, and that's who he's got. So
I'm gonna throw it to
you're
you.
right, Diddy. McDaniels is not in his Rolodex. Not that it matters after that.
No,
person.
McDaniels is. I mean, he
He is, but he's not gonna bring them. He's not gonna put McDaniels in front of them. He's not. And McDaniels.
Each one of you, I got a question.
Anyway.
I got a question.
Right, go ahead, Jared. Go ahead.
Younger guy or older guy? Do you have a preference? Do you want a young guy? Do you want an old guy?
I can't just make a blanket statement. I have to know who you're talking
about. A younger, maybe like a college guy coming out, or
attach it to a guy. Like you gotta say, like
I
Ryan.
think we all agree. Harbaugh, if yes, absolutely. Ryan Day, sure. Josh McDaniels for me, yes. It all depends on
Does
who
Harbaugh fall in the older?
I'm talking.
I'll say
is there a plus
Harbaugh
70?
definitely falls in the older category. Harbaugh's like 64.
Harbaugh's not 64.
Yes, he is, dude. He's
no
old.
Way. No
he
way.
played in 90, 91, 92.
I'm telling you, bro. He is old. I heard this the other day, and I didn't believe it.
He's 58.
So that's like the same thing as 64.
Age and gravy. Busting the stats.
Age and gravy.
I think that's his brother.
He's knocking on the door at 60. That is getting up there. Older than I thought he was.
The Dolphins requested Dable too for an interview.
Yeah.
So the thing about Harbaugh that also came out today, the Jeff Ross, is that his name? No. Stephen Ross, the owner of the Dolphins, is a huge Michigan backer. Huge. Has given them $400 million. Like, that's insane. Like that's crazier than like the Oklahoma State oil guy. Like, that's crazy amounts of money. He basically is the biggest booster for Michigan there is.
Yeah, Broncos, Eric Bieniemy.
And he said, yeah, they requested.
Bieniemy.
Good for them. So he said, I will not take Jim Harbaugh from Michigan. And he was like basically like shutting down the rumors that he would be going to Miami. And now you hear, well, guess what? They're fucking negotiating a contract extension with Michigan for Harbaugh. Because this is what it's been all along, the Chicago leverage. Mm-hmm. He knew he had that in his back pocket, and that's fucking genius. That's smart. I have no problem with it. It sucks because, I put out that fucking Vic and Fangio. That would be sick. If they actually were to bring back Vic as DC and have Harbaugh as the head coach, I would be so signed up for that. That got like 1,000 likes, that tweet, like fucking 500 retweets. Like, people were hyped on that shit. That was like, yes, that is some shit right there. Let's do that. But Harbaugh's fucking using us. Fangio will go be his defensive coordinator in college now, watch. At Michigan. I mean, we've been saying this. You think Harbaugh's going to see Mel Tucker get that contract after he was forced to take a pay cut? And yes, he did the magnanimous thing and gave his bonus, blah, blah, blah. He did that as a fuck you. He did that as like, you know what? You don't even get to feel like you gave me that money back. I'm giving it to the people you fucked so I can get that money back. Because fuck you, Michigan, and your $400 million donor, Stephen Ross, and your bullshit. Like, imagine a university like Michigan telling Jim Harbaugh he's going to take a pay cut. Fuck out of here. That's unbelievable. Like, and it worked. He listened to them. Like, what a crock of shit. And so you think he's going to sit there and watch Michigan State pay Mel Tucker that kind of money and not be like, like, are you fucking kidding me? He pulled Michigan out of the dirt, bro. Michigan was done for.
Yeah.
Done for before he got there. No credibility.
I'm just hoping we start hearing more names that we're happy to hear.
So I don't think Harbaugh's coming. I don't think they have a shot in hell for Harbaugh anymore. Do you?
I never thought Harbaugh was realistic.
I didn't think so either.
Man, it was fun to dream though for him.
And I don't think Ryan Day is a realistic thing either.
Because he's got the same leverage. He can do the same thing Harbaugh's doing.
No, they just have to be tired of the college coach lifestyle where they're constantly on recruiting and all that shit.
Yeah, tired of being a fucking king. Tired of being a literal king.
The Sean Payton type dream is over as well.
David Shaw?
No, not if they bring Ireland in. It's not. No, the Sean Payton thing.
Oh, yeah, that was the most. Why would he leave? Why would the Saints let him leave? He like one fucking first round pick. They don't for what? What would they do that for?
That we don't even have.
And what are they gonna do? Like the Saints got screwed over again. Like they are the most snake bit team.
You hate to see it.
Like it's wild.
Well, this is the thing. Somebody I was talking to. Again, I'm not going to bring up who, but they were saying if Peyton is really, Peyton is truly.
It was Jeff.
Tired of being there now. If Peyton's truly tired of being there, he gave the Saints an ultimatum: either trade me to Chicago or I'm going to do TV.
Yeah,
it could be something like that.
Either
you get something for him, or you don't get him at all.
I guess my question would be, why would he put out that ultimatum to get to Chicago? I guess unless he had this.
I don't see it happening. I'm just saying that's how you get out of it.
That would be the scenario. Yeah,
right.
That makes sense. Logically, it makes sense.
What's it been?
Yo, DBB is on his bullshit, bro. Like, so he tweets out, Jeff Ireland interview has been requested. And Aaron Lemming's like, do Ed Dodds next. And then DBB's like, it's coming. Like, fucking, you wait. You just wait. I got the hot properties. He's so excited that he has this shit. Oh, my God. He's beside himself.
Good for him.
So then Lemming goes, any predictions, ideas where they get the GM hire done? Feels like by the end of when they get the GM hire done, feels like by the end of the weekend. And DBB's like, well, they'll have a quick round of Zooms, but I'm sure they'll want the finalists in the building, if that's feasible.
Oh, all right.
BBB has spoken.
I mean, it's mind-blowing that we're actually, like, taking into consideration what he says. That's the crazy part.
It's unbelievable. Like, what a fucking comeback story. I'm starting to like this dude.
Last week in the pod, I was like, I hate doing this, but
hell no.
He sounded pretty serious.
I don't trust anyone wearing a Kangol hat that he has.
That wasn't a Kangol hat. It was like a poofy old style hat.
The same.
No. Like this is like a poof. Like he bought this shit at like Goodwill.
Golf hat.
It's like a poofy golf hat with old style. The shitty Chicago, not Chicago, but everybody thinks it's Chicago beer. It's actually from Milwaukee.
Yeah, like the Kangol hat's like Prison Mike from The Office.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's close enough. Jesus.
No, but the Kangol hats can be cool. Samuel L. Jackson, Kangol hats.
Nobody ever said that Kangol hats were cool.
Not on white guys.
I had one back in the 90s.
Black guys can rock the fuck out of Kangol.
I wore my Kangol hat backwards back in the 90s, bro. What?
Again, not on white guys. Black guys can rock the fuck out of Kangols. I tried the same shit. I looked awful. I thought I looked cool. Everybody tried that back.
Imagine Diddy wearing the Kangol hat.
Yeah, it's like the only way you can.
You don't know about this New Haven pizza.
The only real way you can rock a Kangol as the white guys if you go Southie Boston, like you go forward with that shit.
Nobody
like
in their right mind.
You gotta be on some Newsies shit, like fucking, or you gotta be on some fucking Southie. Yo, this is Paulie, fucking Paulie Knuckles over here with the fucking hat. Forward.
Like everybody in here, AA has a vibe of Connecticut. He's been to Connecticut. Like,
park the car, Paulie.
You would never
fucking Kangol.
If one of you guys came to visit, I would never say let's go to New Haven. I would say let's go to Mystic. Like New Haven is not a tourist area, bro. Like
it would be fun as fuck
to bust your balls.
Can you? I just had a beautiful image. I just had a beautiful image of us getting fucking saltwater taffy at Mystic Seaport. Oh my god, what a moment!
Exactly.
We could really fucking tear shit up.
I just wouldn't send anybody to New Haven. That's like that's where you go. If one of your family members is in the hospital, you're like, okay, I'll grab some pizza while I'm visiting.
Yeah, or you go to like buy drugs.
I want that meatball pizza that you got.
Oh, that's
Look
down
at-
the street from my house, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
Who's
that's
this Jeremy Kramer? This Jeremy Kramer says, "Let's get mystic." Yo, I think Jer's been hacked by the Russian spies. Shout out to them. They haven't come. Vortec.
Are we even? So I see on the bottom that's scrolling. Did you even put us on Twitch tonight?
Yes.
Yeah, and see the
All
little
right.
purple thing up there? That's the Twitch
You
logo.
can't.
I don't see that.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
I don't have. Inside
Someday you'll have a login.
Hey, bro, at
Oh.
least you have an intro on the damn.
You have
on
an
the fucking
you have an
opening.
email waiting.
I'm waiting for the
Love it.
biscuit to fly in. There's just nothing. Just
Bro,
nothing.
let me tell you a story. We've been doing this show for a long ass time, bro. I've cut multiple different intros. You've been on the show. You've been on the show for like 5 minutes, bro. I'm getting there.
I'm fucking with you.
I know, and I'm fucking with you right the fuck back. Like,
Hey, did you listen to the preview pod last week?
like 30 minutes of it, 32
Whoa,
minutes
that's
of it.
an improvement.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah, I found it was kind of ironic because y'all were like ready to start jocking Jeff, and I was like slamming him with the show page.
Whoa,
Like-
we were about to start? No.
You were
No. Fuck no.
I said I couldn't believe I was actually saying it. Like,
yeah. You
he
were
was
like,
right.
you don't know what the fuck you's talking about, Jeff. Jeff's a fucking stand-up guy. Fuck you.
That wasn't going there.
No. What a fucking guy. Oh my god, he's insider.
Well, some people don't.
The wicked
understand the
insider.
history, the Twitter history either. I mean, it's been
I know.
years of
Nobody
shit.
understands.
So.
Nobody understands. And fucking, I fucking go scorched earth, and you get these people like, why are you fighting? Like, get the fuck
Can't
out
you
of
all
here.
just get along?
Yeah, like, can you get along?
I mean, you went so hard on.
He gave me a shirt 10 years ago.
You went so hard on Twitter today. We actually had a live chat last week, and cheers in the comment today.
A live chat?
We had the chat was kind of bumping a little bit last
Yeah, it was.
Thursday.
Oh, yeah. I was fucking.
The Twitter feed said, "Fuck that."
Yeah. They said
See that I'm saying? I get the people going. I get them stirred up, and then they're like, "Oh shit, these motherfuckers are live," and you're like, "Oh fuck, what is he saying?"
Yeah, when you're throwing tantrums there on the timeline.
Tantrums.
You're like,
Oh
dude,
my
if
God.
you think that's a tantrum, you don't interact with people.
Yeah,
Like,
and
literally,
it's
bro.
like, what don't I want to say on my personal account today?
hey, nah, I would fucking go, yo, I don't, like, that's, you, like, the fact that fucking Matt Nagy is in the chat.
So,
Someone with a YouTube profile that's Matt Nagy
Yes.
is in the chat with his picture. What is awesome? And he just said, "It's over" with sad face emoji.
Thanks,
And
Matt,
then he
for all the
says-
memories.
I'm gonna miss you guys.
oh, really? Because Matt, you didn't say anything about the fans in your statement that was put out by the Bears.
Hey,
You
whoa!
shaded us, bro.
That's because of the high school game. Him and George are salty as fuck about that. He's like, "Thank you, Virginia and Ted. Thank you to all my coaches. Thank you to all the players for believing
A lot
in
of
me.
thank you.
And that's it. No other thank yous are coming.
Fuck
Boom.
you. Fuck you.
Boom.
Fuck you. You're cool.
Boom.
Fuck you. I'm out.
Hey,
And one more time.
Be you,
Boom.
be you, coach.
Fuck it.
Somewhere else.
Be you
Yep.
somewhere else.
Yeah.
You're in the
yeah.
unemployment line.
Be fucking gone, bro. Like, get the fuck out. In case your ears are fucked, get the fuck out.
Take your 4th and 1 shotguns on the goal line.
Matt Nagy, hey, time out. Matt Nagy's still in the chat. He says, "Goodbye, guys. I was happy to bring you a 12-4 record." Amazing. What a nice guy. Like, I'm straight flaming him right now, and he's still just happy. Glass half full, right, Matt? Glass half full. Glass half full. We're just finding the whys. What are the whys, Matt, in the chat? What are the whys?
Yeah, thank you,
You know what
Vic.
they are?
I mean, Matt, thank you, Vic.
You know
what they are?
Knowing our whole shit is probably him.
That this motherfucker, Matt Nagy, cut a McDonald's commercial this year. The audacity.
Wow.
He almost lost his goddamn job last year, but he found a Justin Fields, and he thought he was back in the shit. He thought he was fucking king of the hill again. He's like, yeah, let's make a fucking commercial. McDonald's is like, yeah, Matt Nagy's our guy.
Yeah, he probably is their guy right now.
That's the crazy thing to me is for a guy who knew that he was on thin ice, like why didn't he just commit to Justin getting reps in training camp? Not
he's trying to
that process so bad. That was his only chance to stick,
right?
Though.
But because he's so selfish,
Dalton bought him time in his mind.
Yes, but he also was so desperate to prove that his offense worked and his shit worked. So desperate.
Well, you're with Dalton with Fields next year.
He literally already showed you how desperate he was. He brought Nick Foles in here. He fucking threw Mitch under the bus. Like he already showed you how desperate he was. Like
Bryce in the chat, I wouldn't be surprised. I know there's some connection there with Polian.
What did Bryce say?
I got a feeling we're hiring Brian.
Remember, this is a podcast, so they don't know what he said.
Oh, now it's a podcast?
In theory, it's a fucking podcast.
Then hook up your microphone and stop yelling into the fucking computer.
I'll yell into whatever I want. Wherever I want, whenever I want.
Diddy makes weird face.
Yeah.
No, but fun fact. This is from Kevin Fishbane. Dable went to high school with Bill Polian's sons. Brian Polian helped connect Dable with Nick Saban for a GA job at Michigan State in 1998.
Who cares? Like, is that really supposed to be interesting? Is he serious with that?
It's a network. Good old boy.
I get it, but that's like so obscure. Like
it's Fishbane.
We know how we do with networks.
Fucking network.
Do you think there's any chance that Bill Polian is smashing Virginia? Just saying. In the same age bracket. Maybe they had a dinner.
Like that lady's 99. She's like
she
like
wants something on the way out.
Oh,
she's like the crypt keeper at this point.
Just saying. I'm just hypothesizing here, okay?
That's dark, bro.
How bad's
This is end of the pod chat. This is usually the direction.
Oh God! Somebody said that Ryan Paisley eats her toenails. What did he say? Oh my God!
Why did you retweet that though?
Because it's amazing.
It's not. It's stupid.
Oh no! It's fucking hilarious.
Come listen to our show where we talk about our GM eating our owner's toenails.
Yeah, like there's nothing so remotely entertaining about that.
That was a great fucking tweet. Are you kidding me?
But
it
is 12:37 my time. So
Jer, where did you find that picture of the Bojacks for 50 cents?
That was a Bart special.
That's dope. That's for.
Can I throw some shade to my home?
That's real.
$9 for a box of Bojacks.
You cornball, bro. Why would you do that?
It was a
cereal had like
purchase.
Sweet Jesus, bro. Stony motherfucker, like buying cereal. That shit could never be worth money. Like a box of cereal has not been worth
cents.
Right, but like a box of cereal has not been collectible since like fucking Bruce Jenner. Like
I don't know about that. Those Walter Payton ones I have back there, they go for like if they're full, they're like $20-$25 a pop.
Wow. So you were ready to turn 9 right into 20, huh?
Hey, listen, I gotta look at retirement sometime or the other.
You thought you were gonna make big money on a box of cereal from a bad safety.
Everybody's into crypto, and I'm telling you, it's Bojacks. That's where it's at. You got to get in at the floor. Okay.
Bryce says I'm gonna miss the clown emojis in the chat when Nagy had press conferences. I'm not gonna miss any of that shit. Nagy's press conferences were painful. Matt Nagy still in the chat. Shout out to you, Matt. Says you guys will regret firing me. Okay, so he's getting a little. Maybe he's not too happy with us. I think at this point,
I'm thinking right
he's
now.
pretty mad.
Yeah, no regrets, bro.
Why, Matt? Will you find the whys of why we will regret firing you? When you find them, please pen me a letter. Dear The Tailgate Show, thank you for doing a podcast about our Bears.
Bolt up.
What's up? Unfortunately,
Bartek.
this is a cease and desist letter.
You know what I'm not going to miss is
I'm
guys
waiting
like
for that
Jermaine
McDaniels
Ifedi
drop.
and Bruce Irvin becoming captains against their former team. I'm not going to miss shit like that.
Yo, but I am getting. You know who I am gonna miss? Joel Iyiegbuniwe. Oh my God, guys! I just want to talk about. I want to talk a minute about the tearful goodbye and the moment that we all shared with Iggy, bro.
And we're done.
4th round pick. This is not like some 6th rounder, like fucking feel good story. This dude's a 4th round pick and he sucks. He sucks.
Oh no! According to him, he just hasn't been given the opportunity yet.
Yes, according to him, they keep having to replace him. They played Josh Woods. They had to go out and get Christian Jones. They had to fucking go out and find. They literally signed Robert Quinn's roommate. Anything to avoid paying and playing Iggy. Anything to avoid that. And this dude's like, oh, I'm so sorry it didn't work. Yeah, we're really going to miss your 10 special teams snaps. Like, and Bears Twitter is like, oh, Iggy, you're my favorite photo because you actually tweet. Like,
he can tweet because he's not playing.
Yeah, he's got plenty of fucking time to tweet. He can tweet a storm. He got, none of the actual, like, playing gets in the way of that.
At least he has the awareness to know that he won't be back.
Yeah, but it's like he's trying to victory lap that shit. It's like, no, like what?
I'm just glad we're talking about this team of Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy going. I'm fired up actually. Honestly though, like I'm glad Justin Fields is going to get a fresh start because I don't think things were going the right direction to develop him with the people we had in place. So I'm excited to hear the names. I'm excited to finally meet the people, like get the presser going with the people we hire and see what direction we're going.
Do you think that Justin Fields should be consulted? Because that's been an argument.
What? I don't think he's established enough to
right. I agree with
a top 5 quarterback yet.
I agree. I don't think he needs to be consulted. If they're not going
to meet the candidates, sure, to get the vibe of how both of them are driving. Absolutely, sure.
The conversation should be had is like, what do you like? What don't you like about Justin?
Yes, when they get to the finalists, I think it'd be a good idea to have a conversation with him, not for him to have a conversation with them and like interview them, because that's weird. That's overstepping. That wouldn't be normal for a second-year player.
I mean, like Ryan Day is brought in. If that,
they already know how he feels.
Yeah,
but should they really be requesting head coaching interviews when they don't even have the GM yet?
Exactly. I mean, George was asked that.
This is where the Harbaugh thing comes in. I think we've talked about it. A bunch of other people have talked about it. If you get a strong head coach who's going to want a little more, pull with the player personnel and things like that, you might have to placate his GM.
I mean, that Jer, I agree with you, but I think these three early names, at least Peterson, Dable, and Frazier, I don't think any of those guys are guys that you hire before you grab your general manager.
No.
And you have 3 other ones too.
Today, just have a mute too.
Oh,
that's right. I'm just gonna start ripping them on air. Then fuck y'all.
I'm gonna leave the pod.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna leave out of disrespect.
Yeah, and then I'll finally put you in the intro. They'll be just leaving.
That's fucking great.
Just be leaving. Burnt biscuits, fucking bailed.
Hey, can we get a
BBB
Mewtwo Gate
Caskey's presser?
Mewtwo Gate.
Like just on.
Hey, If I should get fucking shit on for muting when I fart. Like, come on, that's decorum.
What I'm saying is, it'd be a good sound drop. Just blast it. Like if somebody's saying something you don't like,
Matt Nagy wants to come on the show. Sure you can, pal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure you can, pal.
Come on in.
Give you the best interview you've ever had, bro.
Oh yeah, we will fucking. We will do it right. How do you feel about how Andy Dalton made you look like a straight bitch in the second half of that game? How do you feel about that?
How do you take a 14-0 lead and run the ball? What was it? Did he 9 times?
That's what Matt Nagy does. That's what he's done his whole life.
But it's just like the lack of self-awareness. Like you think it can't get any worse, and every week it got worse.
He lost the playoff game because of it. It was his only shot. He called it's like I can't believe Matt Nagy did this. This is who he is.
I mean, all the negativity with this organization aside, aren't you happy that there's something to at least there's something to look forward to?
Happy is not the word.
I think
I'm not
some happiness.
I'm not happy.
I was happy as hell when the news drop came down today that both of them were gone, man.
I was happy when Pace was announced. I think so. What's worse though, George taking another dart throw or continuing down the path that is not going to work? Maybe I'm not overly confident that they're going to get it right, but it's better than continuing on.
It's like you've got a bunch of fucking knives stuck in you, and there's 5 knives stuck in you, and one gets pulled out, and you're like, aren't you happy a knife got pulled out? Yeah, I still got 4 in me. So yeah, I don't have 5. That's cool. That's fucking great. Wow, amazing. I want to see what the fuck happens. I'm not happy that these guys didn't work out because it's fucked up. It's fucked up that they didn't work out.
Oh my god!
Will you be happy no matter? I mean,
you
say they get the higher.
Sorry, go ahead, Jared.
I was happy as fuck when Fields got drafted, so don't play that.
You were trying to talk
No, you
yourself
didn't
out
let
of
me finish it.
Well, finish.
Go ahead,
Sorry.
So, would you be happy if they got the coaching that you wanted, and it still fails?
Bro, if they hire somebody that I'm excited about, I'll be happy as fuck. I will wave the fucking flag. I can flip the switch right the fuck back. Right now, if you're asking me, am I happy about where the Bears are at? I'm happier than I was about where they are, but I'm not happy. I'm still pissed. I was pissed before. I'm less pissed with a dash of hope, but it's not this is stressful.
When you heard Pace was fired, you weren't like, fuck yeah.
I was. I'm not gonna lie.
I was.
I've been waiting for it since 2019. I was super pumped.
It's too little too late. I want to see what happens.
Oh my god. You have this thing where you don't want to get up here, but you don't keep it down here just so up here is getting up here.
I got fucking hyped. So you're gonna accuse me of not getting hyped about Fields? I got fucking hyped about Fields.
No. I'm talking about before the whole firing went down. You're like, this is what's gonna happen. Pace is gonna become the president of operations.
Bro, it's called managing expectations. It's called self-preservation. I'm sorry. I have to fucking preserve my psyche. I can't go all in on this shit anymore.
And it would have been a Bears move to do that too. I mean, everyone told them they needed to do this last year, and they just delayed the inevitable. So I kind of see both points: managing expectations, but also being happy that they're not continuing down the Pace show.
I'm just being honest how I feel. I don't fucking feel happy about it. I'm like, cool, great, let's see. Let's fucking see. I'm not gonna be like, yeah, they got fired. Those were the dudes we thought were it. It's just full confirmation of their failure. Stamped and approved. Okay, on to the next. But those guys.
Oh, you remember we were jocking, dude, whenever we got Nagy and the Colts ended up with Frank Reich.
We believed in those guys. And they failed. And we just fucking watched them float away on a slow boat to China. And it's like, oh, I'm supposed to be hyped about that? It's fucking depressing.
I wanted McDaniels back then, Jer. He gave them the old.
No, but we were.
Thanks for coming to visit me. Peace.
It's just one of those things, man. I remember vividly us really throwing shit at the Colts.
We threw shit at the Packers. We thought they were going to just be dismantled because they're restructured and they
A
got
lot of people think that because of the fucking quarterback too right now.
Yeah, and they got this young coach that was just going to be a flop, and
Yeah,
how'd that work
that
out?
didn't happen.
No, we always like to shit up.
It's whack, bro. Like that's why I'm not happy. Like it's okay. I feel less angry than if they both were back or if one was back. I'm less angry, but I'm still bad, and I'm not ready to fucking, feel like hopeful yet. Like,
I look at the question though in a vacuum. Like, are you happy that they made the moves they did today?
Yeah.
Not overall, are you happy with the last 30 years of Bears ineptitude?
But it's also once again after a failure. Like the Bill Polian thing happened by accident.
Unless there's failure.
Right, but yeah, I guess you're right. But it's like it's just I'm not gonna give them fucking credit for making the smart move after making bad move after bad move after bad move. Like, it doesn't work like that.
The way we thought this was going to go down was Nagy was going to be gone, Pace was going to stay. I am fucking happy the way it went down today.
I'm so tired of feeling like I'm supposed to be happy about garbage.
And we'll see if the GM coaching competition, much like the kicker competition, works.
You brought that up, Jared, but they've only brought up 3 candidates on each side of you have to interview several.
So far.
They did say it would be expansive, but yeah, 3-3 so far isn't huge. The only 2 things that I'm not happy about today is the fact that Ted will be involved in the hiring of the GM after we were told that he would just be strictly on the business side. And 2, the fact that and maybe they're just requesting interviews, but I still feel like you're putting the cart before the horse. Get the GM. Don't do the same thing that you did to Ryan Pace. Don't force a damn head coach on the general manager.
Well,
make the one football decision and then let them make the rest of them.
They hired the GM first with Pace.
You know how we know?
Yeah, but then they forced Fox onto him.
He went and visited Fox in Denver, dude, to see if they even jive. I think there was more put into that than.
So
I think there was a lot of credence to a young general manager getting the veteran head coach, and Pace was
yeah,
sure.
Cap said today that he wanted, was it Dan Quinn?
Yep.
And so they told us.
Go ahead.
They told us that Ted is focusing on the business of Arlington Heights. Well, then the Arlington Heights question started coming, and Ted basically admitted there's no business of Arlington Heights. So, motherfuckers, we know you're lying. Because you're not even at the stage where Ted has to focus on a goddamn thing. What is Ted going to focus on when they don't have a drawing? They don't have an idea.
He's a money guy, dude.
They don't have, but what is he focusing on? Closing that deal? How much?
That's a year and a half away that he's
right. And what is Ted like? Biscuits, you're a realtor. Like, what possibly would Ted be focusing on during the closing of this? The agreed upon price has been met. Unless they have issues not being liquid, like if they're basically
part of it's a funding thing. I mean, part of it could be contingencies for developmental plans. Like they've agreed that part of the purchase contract is that they're allowed to come in here and basically put a design together to see if it works. And if it doesn't work or suit their needs, then they're allowed to get out of that contract without following through with purchasing.
But we were just told that's not happening. Like, why would it take a year? Why would it take a year? And this is what I'm saying. We know they're on some bullshit.
Posturing. They're just using this as leverage with the Park District. They are not serious about buying that park.
No, they're absolutely serious about it. You heard him say. You heard him say that is the long-term plans of the Bears. But they're only as serious as the Bears. And what I'm saying is, we know they're full of shit in the move of Ted because the business isn't at the point where Ted really needs to do that. So either they're lying or it was just a bad excuse to shift him out. But then George immediately fucking contradicted himself. Like, it's just such a, like, they think they're fucking smart.
He'll listen to his opinion. I'm getting the vibe in the interview, and that he would be dealing with the money side of it. But he did say he's taking him out of the loop as far as reporting. So, I mean, it's a step in the right direction. It's not the step we were looking for. And that Bet River thing, isn't that tied into the racetrack?
It is later. It is later.
It's part of the Churchill. Bet Rivers is part of Churchill's Downs group, is it not?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's
It is going to be later. I just think I'm just confused as to what he really needs to focus on right now. I don't buy it. So he's just going to be focusing on the same shit he's always been focusing on. He can't he's bigger than George. He's more Teflon than George. He's been there before George. He's like watching.
They nail these hires, so we don't have to worry about these two fucks.
Like Ted hired George to be
good teams don't have to worry about this shit.
Right.
Ted hired George to be the ticket manager.
We're getting too deep.
Back in the day. George owns Ted. And not vice versa.
If they hire the right GM and head coach, we don't even need to think about those two dumb fucks.
True.
Reminder also, okay, we jocked Jeff Hughes enough and given him plenty of credit. The one thing he missed on hard was saying that Ted is going to retire. That man is not retiring.
Nope.
Not even close. He's
taking the Arlington Heights thing.
Yo, he can't wait to waltz around in that new ass stadium.
He brought up 2023.
And no, he brought up 2023 as a prospective date of when the property acquisition would close. That's such a reach. He's so into this thing. Unless he's got some secret disease we don't know about, he's into this. He's in for a penny, in for a pound on this shit. He can't wait to stroll around Arlington Heights, Disneyland, Bears Land, and fucking lick
Ted Phillips Arena.
Yeah, the Bet Rivers fucking the Bet Rivers Dome. He's gonna be so just walking around. Even if he's in fucking he's in his hover round. And
why weren't they more enthusiastic about it? He said hovercraft. Why weren't they more enthusiastic about it? Why were they so bullish? Why did they constantly want to beat around the bush about it?
Because they're fucking weirdos.
I was going to say, what came off enthusiastic about anything McCaskey said today?
I'm just saying.
They don't know how to present things.
He's not normal.
You're under a shitstorm, from
they don't see it that way.
They could have walked out there and be like, we are going to bring you Disneyland. And everyone would have been like, oh, fuck the general manager and head coach.
Because they don't trust. They admitted again. You know how Bill Polian, George found Bill Polian by accident. They found Arlington Heights by accident. They weren't even looking. Arlington Heights was like, hey.
Yeah, Roger Goodell's like, hey.
Yeah. And then they were like, whoa, that's a great idea. They backed into this, so they don't have he's not lying. They don't have a grand plan, but they want it to happen, and the league wants it to happen, and Arlington Heights wants it to happen, and it's going to fucking happen eventually, and George and Ted will have nothing to do with it, but they'll take credit for it like a motherfucker.
So I got a message today in the DMs. I'll send it to you all later so you can see who it's from. But he says that I have it on good authority that they needed to finance the initial interest offer for Arlington, not the $125 million bid, just the $20 million to get in to play the game.
Oh my God, and they're so broke.
SOM and BCG are the consulting companies that they're using.
They're that broke. That's pathetic. That's what I'm saying is why should an acquisition like that take so long? There aren't development deals signed where they're fucking broke.
Where's that funding coming from then? Because the NFL and the city of Arlington aren't going to pay 100% of that stadium.
No, not at this stage. But the gambling money, man, that's where it's coming from. The gambling money is crazy. Bet Rivers will pay. Bet Rivers will pay. They will absolutely, between the league and Bet Rivers, they will build that shit.
Then Chicago's going to sue the shit out of them.
No, they're not. They cannot and they will not. The state of Illinois would not allow the city to sue another town in the state they want that money. They're not suing anybody.
The reason New York's threatening is because the Giants and Jets are in Jersey.
They left the state.
Yeah.
That's totally different.
I think it's a threat to try to get a stadium in New York City. That's
that's not happening. For the city to fucking sue Arlington Heights. No. It's not far enough away. I don't know, whatever. It's just fucking crazy. This shit is so crazy. I want to be happy. I'd love to feel like, yes, we fired these guys. Woo! I'm not. I liked these guys for a while. I never liked Trestman and Emery.
Just be happy, bro.
Smiling's for mouth breathers.
Why don't you fire one off next time before you come on the pod? Maybe you like the post nut clarity will help you out a little bit.
You act like that ain't fucking happening already. Shit.
No, you're working
Oh,
yourself
your
up on
camera
one for
looks
after.
shaky.
Shit. How do I mute this? How do I mute the camera and get to work on that?
Were you on Instagram?
I was on the gram.
Is that why you were late to the pod?
I
On the gram?
I was chilling on the gram.
I was on Fansly. Don't worry about it.
Whoa, dang, son. I was on MySpace.
On the online?
On the online. On the old online. All right, well, that's it. I think we fucking ran through it.
We did our
2 hours.
Boom.
Extravaganza.
Shout out to Matt Nagy for joining us in the chat. Really big of you. You can definitely come on the show pretty soon.
Let's just hope they get it right.
Why not?
Fellas.
Aaron is.
Yeah, fucking A. Bryce, shout out to you in the chat. Jeremy Kramer sounds like a weirdo, but thanks for getting in the chat.
Yeah, man. And, I appreciate you guys doing this with you this football season, and we'll probably.
Fuck! The season's over.
Yep. So we'll see you guys. What around?
Yeah, we start breaking down the draft.
Yep. Around combine time. We're gonna take a hiatus for like a month and a half. Does that sound good?
We're not.
Fuck.
In the playoffs.
We gotta talk about.
Pick'em is back, baby.
I gotta take a hiatus right now.
I'm gonna do a Tom Brady, Lord Brady playoff special pod, man. It's gonna be nothing but 60 minutes of me reading Tom Brady's autobiography. So
get excited,
listeners.
I will just be on here like screaming, like "fuck you fuck."
I really hope that you guys
that's art right there.
Oh,
like, you just
for Philly. Wow.
Over Tom Brady, yeah.
Jordan Howard, fucking elite. Get it right, bitch.
So you'd rather have the Eagles going and playing Green Bay the following week? Okay, that's smart.
I've already decided it's inevitable that Aaron Rodgers is winning the Super Bowl this season. So, like, nothing can hurt me anymore.
Brady.
Brady's fucked. All his receivers are dead.
Scotty Miller is going to morph into Julian Edelman, and they are going to go on a run.
Bro,
so unbelievable.
You know what? You are right. I want the Bucs to win to have to go to play in Green Bay just so you can. I'd like to do a live stream and watch that game with you.
Bet.
It's gonna be like -5 degrees.
Talk about busting nuts. You're gonna see one busted. Biscuit's gonna bust one live.
Oh, you gonna bust like a can of biscuits. Pop! Pillsbury quack!
All right, throw it out there. We'll do our pick'ems because those games are Saturday and Sunday.
Pick'ems? Oh, fuck. All right.
Let's do it.
We don't have to do it right now.
We're doing a whole.
There's gonna be another show. There's not gonna be a Thursday. Thursday shows are canceled. Right? Nah.
Unless something.
I mean, you can't. How the fuck you gonna do 2 shows a week, bro?
Unless there's like 20 names brought up from like between the time frame here, maybe.
So we're really gonna talk about names. We're gonna be like this. You're gonna pretend like we know shit about Ed Dodds.
Well, according to the log, we're gonna know by the end of the weekend.
So that's right. It's moving fast.
Hey, me and these guys can do a pod in an hour. So, yeah, we might. I mean,
I know, but nobody listens to more than 20 minutes of it, but that's cool.
We'll take 20 minutes.
So, why do we waste 2.5 hours on a Monday?
Because it's fucking fun. I don't know.
On that note.
Because Biscuits likes to party. Biscuits likes to party all the time, party all the time, party all the time.
Biscuits looks like he's in.
Likes to pop it all the time. Pop it all.
He looks like he's in a Chicago Bears subway.
Yeah, it looks like.
That's better than the sports bar. I've upgraded.
Yeah.
My background is so low rent. It's the worst. It's like the worst. This fucking terrible wood paneling and this terrible flag. That's the worst.
Does that flag stay up like all day, or do you like put it up?
I like stick it up with tape.
That's why he runs late. He's trying to get on the wall.
Jared like spent hours painting. Yeah.
So that's why you're running late. You try to get that fucker up on the wall.
Yeah. Like, fuck. God damn it. The fucking tape is coming off. Jared's got like fucking perfect orange stripes and he fucking like painted with a laser.
We didn't even let you know. Jared's got pictures of men in his man cave on the wall.
Oh, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with having pictures of men, but which men?
Other men. Like
which
real
men? Sporting heroes?
Tank top men.
Greg Braggs.
Oh, that's pretty dope.
But in his defense, it's in a legit Bears like matted frame. It looks nice.
All the people I met. Here we go again. I gotta defend
but me and Diddy
is
aren't
it
on the
signed?
Wall. We're not on the wall.
No.
Is it signed?
No.
You sure? Maybe on the back? Because I
Sure?
used to have some signed headshots of a guy.
No, it's not. None of those guys.
You want me to sign this headshot?
Oh, I need a full pillow.
Oh, we used to have fun.
We used to have fun, bro. The headshots. And then the pillow. God damn it. Why didn't I order a pillow?
Should have.
That would have been.
Wait,
That would have been money.
I made Philotoshan pillows and put them up online. This is why these motherfuckers will never make up with me, bro. Like I threw an event for these bear barroom fucks at my restaurant downtown Chicago. Let them take over a fucking bar side at the restaurant downtown Chicago.
Not the current group.
Let them fucking throw up. No, this is fucking out like the fucking old school crew. Let them throw a fucking party. Phil got to do his stupid fucking raps and all this shit. So this motherfucker shows up and he has headshots of himself because he thinks that motherfuckers are there to meet up with him. Let me tell you, first of all, like 12 people showed up.
He blamed that on one of the guys had.
Yeah, he blamed on someone else that someone else brought them. Like he didn't fucking know about it. So like 12 fucking people show up to this shit. And like it was a fucking joke. He's acting all important. He's got these fucking headshots. Like he literally thought people were gonna show up and want a signed headshot of Draft Dr. Phil. That's what he fucking thought. So I couldn't believe it, bro. So immediately, as soon as this happens, I'm in the office of the restaurant, like dying. And I had fun. Don't get me wrong, I had fun.
Oh,
it was fucking, we had a blast. So I sent him I send this right to Diddy. I'm like, bro, you have to see this. There's fucking headshots. And Diddy's like, oh my God. So we sent that shit to Shane. And Shane was dying. Shane couldn't believe it. Shane was like, what the fuck? Like, that's the worst shit I've ever seen. He was clowning Phil atrociously. So, and immediately Shane starts sending us pictures back with the pillow on Times Square. With the pillow, not the pillow, with the headshot on Times Square signs.
No, I did that.
Okay, well, yeah, but Shane was making his own. Shane was making his own. Shane was clowning, bro. Like, clowning hard. And so I fucking took the thing and you could do for like all these t-shirt companies, like everybody thinks it's such a big deal to make a t-shirt. Like it's literally like upload a shit.
Yeah.
So you go to Teespring and they're like, t-shirt, phone cover, mug, pillow, whatever the fuck you want. So I fucking uploaded it and made it into a pillow.
Michael Pillow.
A fucking Ophilo pillow. And I tweeted this shit out. And this motherfucker came unglued and called my ass up and like was like, you can't do that. That's so disrespectful. Blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, what, bro? I'm joking around.
Remember when you made the Can't Hold Mac shirt and he wanted royalties?
Yes! Oh my God. So I'm fucking making shirts and he thinks he made up Can't Hold Mac. He thinks he made that shit up. So I made shirts, right? And it literally took me like 5 minutes. Like I was like, oh, here's a fucking little logo, whatever. Like fucking cheap ass apps on my phone. I'm like, what? It's so not a big deal. It's the easiest shit in the fucking world. But to him, it's like fucking difficult. Like he's like amazed, like anybody that can use a fucking computer. Like,
visit our website. Buy our shirt.
Right. So like fucking so he starts telling me that I have to fucking pay him for it. So he's like pissed that I put that out without checking with him. He's fucking pissed that I put that shit out without checking with him, and then he's like, it's all right though, because it's taken off. But you gotta give me royalties on the shirts. I go, bro, I'm not gonna sell any shirts. You're an idiot. Like I was like, none of these shirts are gonna sell. Like he thought that the shit was gonna blow up, and I was gonna become a shirt titan, and he better get his fucking cut. Like I was like, nobody's literally buying any shirts. Like I'll show you every time one sells. And I go, you can have 100% of the shirt sales, Phil, because it's a fucking joke. I was like, I fucking made this shit in 5 minutes, and you're calling me up like acting like I fucking stole the formula to Coca-Cola, you freak. Like, it was crazy. I literally told him you can have 100% of the shirt sales. Oh, no, I don't ask you for that. Like, no, you can have it, Phil, because I'm only going to sell 6 of them. I don't give a fuck. And, you know what I mean? We sold, like, none. I didn't buy one because I was like, this shit's so retarded now. Sorry, that's not a cool word to say. But I was like, this shit's so whack now that it's not even worth it to me. I don't even want this shirt anymore. Shit is tainted. It just represents fucking idiocy.
And here we are doing our own pod.
Right. But this is why Heidi or whatever little get along gang is happening on Facebook. This is why these motherfuckers will never fucking like these motherfuckers still to this day probably stop the pod to like fucking talk shit, like or attempt to talk shit. Because they're so mad because they're the worst.
Should have put this on our Patreon only.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a fucking aside. But there's
if you get a biscuit pillow or an 8-bit Jer pillow or a Snark Diddy pillow, I think that'd be hilarious. I'm just saying.
You would love it because you're a normal human, sort of.
That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
You're not like literally like some half-wit.
They ain't ready for an 8-bit Jer pillow.
He's making fun of me. What's he doing? What does he think he is? I'm Dr. Phil. Like, you fuck. Jesus. All right.
Anyway. That is another episode of The Tailgate.
All right.
McCaskies. Yeah, there we go.
You got anything else? That was it.
The mute toot.
Mute toot.
The soup.
Soup. Big soup.